morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video here. And this is not going to be a video on Ada. I'm going to be having a video on Ada later today. So this will be a double upload day. But in this morning video, we're going to be talking about who will see the snowiest winter for 2020 to 21. So I'm trying to have both winter videos and tropic videos because I know a lot of my viewers like tropics that don't like winter, but a lot have like winter that don't like tropics. So I'm trying to add both the winter vibe and the tropics vibe. So I'm going to try to do two videos today, most likely one on tropics and one on winter to kind of keep that neutral emotions, if that makes sense. But yeah, so we're going to be seeing who will see the snowiest 2020-21 winter, and then very soon I'll probably have who will see the coldest 2020-21 winter here. But we're gonna briefly go over my winter forecast that I did about 4 days ago, and then at the end of the video I will have my map on who I think will have the snowiest winter based on their average, not like inches in total throughout the whole country, just based on their average, how much they can see over that. So yeah, that's what that's gonna mean. But before we get in the video, please subscribe if you're new, hit the like button, and post notification icon. But without further ado, let's get into this winter forecast. So very briefly, we're going to go over the precipitation, temperature, and general winter forecast. And at the end, the last map I'll show is going to be who I think will have the least snowiest winter and snowiest winter for this year. But for the precipitation here, as you can tell, we're going to be seeing in general with this La Nina pattern a very moist northern United States here. We're going to be seeing junctions of moderately above average precipitation there for portions of the Great Lakes. We're going to be seeing a big pattern of very large frequent Arctic blasts and even polar vortexes that will meet up with a lot of moisture. So we're going to be seeing a lot of snowstorms, and obviously going to be seeing as well a lot of rain systems. So we're going to be seeing in general a lot of precipitation. And if we do see a lot of the active Midwest snowstorms, we're also going to be seeing a lot of rain for these areas as well. So in the dark green, we're going to be seeing moderately below average, above average precipitation in that general area. And the same thing goes for the other region, the western United States, and the Great Rockies and portion of the Sierras. We'll be seeing a lot of systems like we've been seeing with Billy and Abigail, and we see a lot of large snow systems that can bring a ton of precipitation, whether it's snow or rain, for areas across the Rockies, Sierras, and even the plains. But in that lemon line, we're going to be seeing just a general widespread of slightly below average precipitation, so it won't be too noticeable. It's just going to be slightly amounts of rain, snow, sleet, whatever type of precipitation form. It's going to be slightly above average throughout this winter, so probably won't notice it. And then the southern United States, from Pacific to the Atlantic coast, it's going to be generally as well with that La Nina pattern, very slightly dry to moderately dry. We're not going to be seeing big droughts or anything like that, but the best chance for droughts will kind of maintain in that moderately below average precipitation out there for portions of the Southwest, including Southern California, Arizona, portion of the western Texas, New Mexico, and as far southern Nevada. So we're going to be seeing a very quiet winter. We're not going to be seeing too many snowstorms like we did see with 2018. In 2019, we saw very active southwestern Rocky and Sierras that brought very large blizzards up in the Midwest. We're not going to be seeing that really at all. Our main source for blizzards will be the Northwest this year, not the Southwest. So it's going to kind of swap to the north now because La Nina. The same thing will happen here. Not going to be seeing snowstorms here this year. So the majority, almost all of the snowstorms will stay in the Ohio Valley and northeast. So very little snowstorms, if not any at all, for portions of the southeast, depending where you live, which is why it's going to kind of maintain slightly below average precipitation all the way from New Jersey to California. So it's going to be generally a dry south and wet north there. So won't be too shabby though. There's still going to be big rainstorms systems and maybe some snowstorms depending where you are in the southern United States that will bring in some amounts of precipitation there. Now we're going to move on to temperatures. So we're going to start off with the below average temperatures. Same thing, just like with the precipitation. It's going to be split south to north. To the northern United States, and kind of be or the northern half can kind of be split into the colder half. So If you're in that bright blue, we're going to be seeing slightly below average temperatures, so it won't be too noticeable, but we will be seeing some very more frequent cold fronts and Arctic blasts that will average out to a slightly colder winter. So it's not going to be like you're going to be getting super big jackets, unlike the previous years. It's just going to be like maybe keep those jackets out for a bit longer this winter. It's going to be more frequent cold fronts. In these areas, in the below average temperatures, there's still going to be some warm fronts. They're just not going to be as active or as frequent. Same thing with the warm fronts. It doesn't mean you're not going to get cold fronts. It's just not going to be too frequent like it is in average years. And that has to partly do with the La Nina pattern. And then we have a moderately below average temperatures out here for portions of the Midwest and Northwest. That's going to be seeing a lot of polar vortexes as well, and a ton of Arctic blasts, and even some clippers as well. So it's going to be a very frigid, especially out here for the upper Midwest, and then it's going to be frigidly cold as well for portions of the Pacific Northwest. I mean, we've already seen negative 30 degrees for portions near Yellowstone. So, and that was in October, not November. So imagine December, January 10th when we have cold fronts that large, and we've already seen the winter pattern we're expecting. We've already kind of seen that throughout the past month, with those very significant, very large cold fronts that have come in through the Northwest and then have taken over portions of these general areas right here, which has led to very significant warm fronts for the East Coast. So the pattern we're expecting throughout winter is the pattern we've been seeing for the past month. That's why we've been seeing so many frequent large cold fronts and Arctic blasts that obviously supported Abigail and Billy. So that's exactly why we are the region I had the snowiest does make sense and actually has to relate with October. So that's a hint to who I think will be the snowiest. And this is my general winter forecast. I'm gonna go through this really quickly because I've already made this and I already showed this showed this map around 4 days ago. So if you want more details on this map, check out my winter forecast number 3. I believe it was 3 or 4 days ago. So be sure to check that out if you want greater details and me talking less fast. But in the orange there from New Mexico to portions of the Carolina coast, we do have slightly warm and dry. So throughout the video you saw they're kind of in the lightest shades of whatever. So they're in the lightest shade of orange and the lightest shade of brown. So it's going to be slightly warmer and slightly dry. So it's basically close to being a normal year. It's just slightly different there. So you probably won't notice it. And that's coming from someone that has their state in a slightly warmer dry. So you probably won't notice it. Maybe 1 or 2 times we actually have a very large warm front, but there's still going to be a cold front and there's still going to be rainstorms in these areas. So it's going to be slightly different. In the winter battle zone, so portions kind of the southeast and even portions of the Ozarks, and even portions of the Mid-Atlantic as well in Virginia, we have winter battle zone. So what winter battle zone means, it means there's a chance for snow, sleet, freezing rain, any type of winter precipitation. So it's not guaranteeing snow, it's not guaranteeing sleet or freezing rain. It's just saying there's a chance for all 3 of those to occur throughout the year, or 1 of 3, or 2 of 3. It means there could be a whole junction of wintry precipitation, which is why it's called the battle zone, because it's going to really be all over the place. It's going to be sleet one time, freezing rain the next time, snow one time, but it's not guaranteeing exactly that happens. Just saying there's a very good chance to see at least one of those 3, and obviously you also have rain. In the purple, we have nor'easter snow, so we're going to be seeing nor'easter patterns just going to be less frequent. So that's exactly why you did see those areas and slightly warmer and slightly drier. It's going to be less frequent nor'easters, but that's going to kind of be seeing where that New England coast will see the most of their snow this year from nor'easters. Just to the west of that, we have a light blue that's rather snowy. So it's not going to be necessarily super duper snowy, but in some of these areas, but you see slightly above average snowfall. Now you will see in the next slide, which is what the whole point of the video is, who will see the snowiest winter. So I'll probably you get more into detail on that in the next slide. And the white, we have active lake effect snow, so that's going to include Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan as well, Lake Superior. So we're going to be seeing very active lakes throughout the year. So we're going to be seeing a lot of lake effect snow, big snowstorms. Not like the Erie snowstorm 2 years ago, we saw 50 inches of snow, but we're going to be seeing some pretty big snow accumulations from lake effect snow alone, so that's going to help bring in that November and December snow for those areas there off the lakes. Just to the south of that, we have the heart of winter. So what that means is it doesn't mean you're going to get actually the coldest or the snowiest. It just means you're going to be seeing kind of the most frequent of that. The most frequent snow doesn't mean you're going to get the most snowiest or the most accumulation, but you're going to be seeing very frequent cold fronts, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the coldest. It just means it's going to be a lot more frequent compared to your average. So all this has to go with your average, not competing against other states. To the west of that, we have cold and snowy in the dark blue for portions of the plains. So it's going to be rather cold and rather snowy compared to previous years. So it's going to be slightly colder and slightly snowier for those areas. And some other areas in the far northern part of the blue, including Iowa and Wyoming, then you can get moderately colder and moderately snowy. And then to the north of that, we have polar vortex in that dark pink or hot pink, and that's where it's going to be absolutely just frigid cold, like absolutely crazy cold. And not only is it going to be crazy cold, it's going to be very frequent. Not going to be seeing too many warm fronts in those areas. We will be seeing warm fronts in those areas, just not that many really at all. It's going to be more kind of just North Pole like. Really, it's going to be a winter wonderland for those up in those areas, and you already got a taste of Abigail and Billy up there. And in the white region to the west of that, we have mountain snow, so that's obviously from portions of Arizona. I think we all know where the mountains are. So wherever those mountains are, those high elevations, that's where that mountain snow is in the white. So it's just going to really be the same there like it has been for the other winter forecast this year. And then to the west of that, we have chilly and wet. So since those areas are kind of more outside the mountains, it's going to be so very cold. It's just going to kind of be more of maybe freezing rain, sleet, some snow, but really, really more like that really chilly rain. And then last but not least, very warm and dry is going to be portion for the southwest. But last but not least, the most important and the prime purpose of the video, who will see the snowiest winter this year and the least snowiest video that is coming up. So here it is, guys. This is my forecast and or the map, and I'll explain the colors and what they mean. But I think it's kind of self-explanatory what they mean here. Obviously, the smaller the shade, kind of the more deep in whether it's least or most. But this is my map. I made free a few minutes ago before starting the video. But let's go and start off with the snowiest part, obviously, because that's kind of the prime. Who sees snowiest? So starting off in the purple, that means you're gonna be seeing a slightly above average snowier winter. So that's going to be very widespread from the Lake Huron area near Syracuse all the way up into the Pacific Northwest, including Seattle and Portland. So you guys with that La Nina pattern can almost guarantee snowfall this year. It really doesn't mean it's going to be too much. It's going to be slightly above average. So I'm not going to explain what states exactly in the purple because that's where you can pause the video, but you can also pause the video. I put the counties so you can actually find your county to make it easier. So try to find your location, see where you are. And my job is just to explain what those colors mean. So if you're in the purple, you're going to be seeing slightly above average snowfall. So it's going to be the slightly snowiest winter based on your average. Again, guys, this is according to your average. So for example, if you're in the snowiest winter, it means based on your average, you're going to be seeing the biggest gap difference between your average and the snow you're expected this year. That makes sense. So a lot of areas in the Midwest, Ohio Valley up to the Pacific Northwest are expecting a slightly snowier winter compared to the average. So the slightly snowiest. In the pink, we have now two shades, one for the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and then one for the Western Plains and the portions of the Rockies from Colorado all the way up to the Canadian border. So in those two pink regions, that stands for a moderately snowiest winter. So the moderately snowiest winter or the second snowiest winter. So that's going to be, of course, based on your average too. If you're in the pink, don't be disappointed that you're not in the snowiest, but I mean, you're still going to get a decent, actually a good amount of snowfall, moderately above average. And that's pretty significant. That's 15 plus inches above average. And then last but not least, drum rolls. So yeah, if you're in the red or hot pink in the Rockies, that's where we're expecting this. That's where I'm expecting the snowiest winter this year based on their average. I mean, we've already seen a ton of snow, feet of snow already from Billy and Abigail combined and other small non-named snowstorms, and that's just in October, November. Imagine after December 21st, so forth, and especially since that La Nina pattern has developed, the Southwest will be very, very quiet. So the stores for the whole year will be the Northwest. So it's going to be snowstorm after snowstorm after snowstorm after snowstorm. And that's exactly why I have a second pink region for the Great Lakes, because these snowstorms that develop here will gravity track here, gravity track there, gravity track there. And the reason why I have the purple so far east is because same thing. You have the snowstorm go like this, and the snowstorm go like that. So that's exactly why. And then for the least snowiest winter, if you're in the gray, you're gonna be seeing this slightly least snowiest winter there. So it's gonna be slightly less snow. And then if you were on the brownish color, you're the moderately least snowiest winter, the second least snowiest winter. And I did not have a list snowiest, so basically I didn't have a I didn't get past moderate because I didn't think it was gonna get too dry like that for portions of the Southwest. But yeah, that wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and bye guys.